You won't believe what happened next. One day I'm minding my own business, tuning a carburetor on my grandfather's motorcycle, and the next, the HOA has the police knocking on my door demanding access to my garage. Their reason? They claimed I was hiding hazardous materials. Hazardous, in my garage. The only thing I was guilty of was catching their little break-in on camera and pressing play for the entire neighborhood. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where it all began. Name's Ben Carter. I'm a Finnish carpenter. That means I like things straight, precise, square. I like peace and quiet. And after years of saving, I finally bought myself a house in a neighborhood called Meadow Ridge Estates. It sounded calm, looked tidy. Rows of pastel-colored homes with lawns so manicured they looked hand-trimmed. And my house? Grey, with a 2-car garage that sealed the deal. You see, a garage to me isn't just for parking. It's a workshop, a sanctuary, a place to think, tinker, and remember. Inside I had 2 prized possessions. First, a 1968 Triumph Bonneville in candy apple blue. It was my grandfather's. He passed it down to me when he died. Every smudge, every chrome shine held a memory. I made a promise to keep it running, and I meant it. The second? A giant grey safe. 4 feet tall, heavier than gilt. I picked it up at a storage auction, blind. I'm a sucker for mystery. Didn't even open it right away. Just slid it into the corner on a heavy-duty dolly and figured I'd deal with it later. For a while, life was good. Peaceful. Until the letter arrived. It was from the HOA, a mandatory community meeting. I had only met the HOA president once, Karen Moore, the kind of woman whose smile never reached her eyes, the kind that says, "I'm in charge," without ever raising her voice. The meeting was held in a stuffy clubhouse that smelled like bad coffee and disappointment. Karen stood in front like she was addressing her royal court, talked about curb appeal, shrub heights, and then dropped the bomb. A new safety initiative. Every homeowner must provide a copy of their garage key to the HOA. For emergencies, of course. The room fell into silence. No one dared speak. But I'm not built like that. I raised my hand. She called on me with a look that could strip paint. I said, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." She blinked. "Excuse me?" I kept it calm. My garage is part of my home. It's where I keep personal tools, projects, and memories. You're not getting a key. Her smile twitched. "It's a safety issue, Mr. Carter. What if the fire department needs access?" I nodded. "They've got axes. They'll manage." A few chuckles rippled through the room. Karen didn't laugh. Brandon, her boyfriend, a guy who always looked like he was mid-scheme, puffed up and stood beside her. "It's for everyone's safety," he said. I looked at him. "I'll handle mine." "Thanks." Karen wasn't used to hearing no. She issued a final warning. "If you open that garage without an HOA compliance officer present, we will consider it obstruction and call 911. The threat wasn't just for me. It was a show of power. But I wasn't intimidated. Next day, taped to my garage door, was a fine, $50 for failing to comply. Below it, a note. "This is your only warning." I crumpled it and tossed it into recycling. Because this wasn't about safety. It was about control. I grabbed the remote, opened the garage, and began work on the bike. Across the street, Karen stood on her porch, phone to ear, eyes locked on me. She waved. I waved back. Let her call. I had nothing to hide. Sure enough, 20 minutes later, a police cruiser pulled up. Out stepped Sergeant Deeks. Big guy, calm face. He looked over the garage, at my tools, at the bike. Karen rushed over, full of drama. "He's hiding dangerous materials!" Deeks looked around, unimpressed. "Like what?" "Mom," she stammered. "We don't know. That's why we need access." He turned to me. "Is this your house, sir?" I handed him the deed. "And the motorcycle?" I showed him the title. He nodded. Ma'am, this is a civil issue. He owns the property. He can open his garage. This isn't a police matter, and don't misuse 911 again. Karen's face twisted. She was being told no. Again. Later, Todd from HOA compliance rolled up in a golf cart, clipboard in hand, Brandon in tow. Random safety inspection, he announced. I asked, You got a warrant? Todd blinked. We don't need one. I shook my head. Board isn't a court, that's my garage. Brandon huffed. We can fine you daily. I pointed to the no trespassing sign. Across the street, Paul Kim, my neighbor, raised his coffee mug like a salute. Todd hesitated. We just need to verify nothing dangerous is operating. I started the Bonneville. The engine purred. Supervised, I said. Todd scribbled something and left, Brandon scowling behind him. That night, I felt watched. Went to bed uneasy. Around 2 a.m., I woke to a strange metallic grinding sound. Checked my phone, pulled up the security feed. 2 figures inside my garage. One, a big guy. The other, Brandon. They'd pried the side door and were trying to drill open the safe. Rage hit me, but I kept cool. I remembered my trick. I had modified the sprinkler heads by the garage to spray a slurry of blue chalk-line dust. Harmless but messy. I triggered the sprinklers remotely. On the feed, the 2 clowns got blasted. Blue everywhere. They stumbled out, coughing and soaked. Brandon slipped on the porch. Neighbors turned on lights. Paul Kim watched from his porch, coffee in hand. The next morning, I called Sergeant Deeks, told him I had proof of a break-in. He came by, watched the video, and his eyebrow twitched. Chalk dust? Clever. He asked if I was okay opening the safe under supervision. I agreed. Later that day, he returned with a locksmith and a warrant. 45 minutes of delicate work and the safe clicked open. Inside, stacks of cash, fake IDs, and a black ledger. Deeks flipped through it. Names, dates, payouts. One name repeated, B. Cole. HOA project funds matched the payouts. The pool, the drainage system, the roof. All listed. It was embezzlement. Deeks looked at me. You just cracked their whole operation. Later, a tow truck showed up. HOA sent it to remove the hazardous structure. They claimed the safe was a threat. I stepped outside. You got a court order? The guy shrugged. Just had a work order from Karen. I called Paul. In a minute, his giant yellow backhoe rolled down the street. He parked it in front of my garage, bucket lowered, blocking access. The crew left without a word. Karen called, screaming. Paul just honked the horn and waved. That night, a storm rolled in. The sky turned black, wind howled, and then I heard it, a child crying. I ran outside. Water had flooded the street. The drain, which was supposed to be repaired, was backed up. A little boy, Leo, was stuck in rising water, his golden retriever barking beside him. I waded in, grabbed them both, and pulled them to safety. His mom rushed out crying. Across the street, Lisa Truman, a quiet HOA board member, stood on her porch with a folder clutched to her chest. Lisa came to my door later, drenched. That drain should have been fixed. I have the invoices. Karen said it was done months ago. We sat down. I showed her everything. The video, the ledger, the embezzlement. She pushed her folder across the table. Meeting minutes, financials, all the evidence lined up. It was airtight. We needed signatures for a recall vote. 25% of the neighborhood. Lisa, Paul, and I split up. Door to door, we shared the story, showed the proof. Some were scared, others furious. The video of Brandon getting blasted with chalk was a hit. Mrs. Jensen, Leo's mum, helped too. Within days, we had more than enough. The night of the meeting, the room was packed. Karen tried to dismiss it, claimed it was slander. I stepped up, clicked through the evidence, the break-in, the fake invoices, the chalk spray, and finally, Leo in the flood. Silence, then anger, Then applause. Karen shrieked. "He refused a key. He's the danger." I held up my garage key. "Let's trade. My key for your front door key." "Fair." The room erupted. The vote was unanimous. Karen and Brandon were out. Sergeant Deke stood up. "Karen Moore, Brandon Cole, you're under arrest." The cuffs clicked. It was over. The next day, Lisa became interim president. She released the full financial audit. Transparent, honest. Paul and a crew fixed the drain for real. The safe was scrapped. The cash went to the community fund. And me? I got back to the bike. The day I fired up the Bonneville, sun shining, engine purring, neighbors waving, I smiled. My garage was mine again. My neighborhood. Ours. Turns out a garage can be a sanctuary. But sometimes it's a battleground too, and every now and then it just takes one key, or refusing to hand it over, to unlock the truth.